Aloha. It was wonderful to see you today. We're going to do a quick recap on what you worked on last week, do today's lessons, and then give a little piece about what we're going to do next week. What we covered this week was a reiteration of what chords are. Chords are a variation of 3 notes, 3 tones. Since our ukulele has 4 strings, what tends to happen when we play just the C note, we often forget that the other 3 notes are played as well. Meaning we have 4 notes that are being played, one of which is a unison or an octave. Generally in chords like a G major, this G note comes from this string. E, F, F sharp, G. So the G that you know, you can trace just by knowing what the notes of this instrument are being played with. So when you tune, the idea is to put your tuner on, play the note, so the chord is going over and over and over again, and then you use your fulcrum here to fine tune it, so the tuner says that you're perfectly in tune, and then you move on to the next string. The reason why we tune like this is it helps us get associated from going from the G string to the C string to the E string to the A string. Being able to name each string, like the G string, the C string, the E string, and the A string is important because you learn certain characteristics. The G string is the closest to your nose. It's the highest one. We call it the high G. The thickest string on the uk is called the C string. Now, we use this string primarily to be the rudiment or the lowest note in most of our chords. However, that's not always the case. What we do is we learn how to use the C note, the E note, and the G note as a triad. Because if we had one note, it would be a tone. When we add a tone, it becomes a harmony. And then a harmony with its fifth becomes a triad. And all triads, regardless of the chord, basically have variations of that 1, 3, and 5. So what we do is we learn how to spell using 7 letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Even if you start on F, you don't go past G. You go F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F again. What we were looking at the board, like the piano's laid out, is the basic steps of a whole tone, which is going from one fret to another fret and skipping a fret, or a half tone, which is going from one fret and directly in front of it on the next fretting. That is called a half step or a semitone, otherwise known as a minor second. When we do our Spidey exercises, 1, 2, 3, and 4, if we were to take that at the 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, and 8th fret, and then at the 9th fret, the 10th fret, and the 11th fret, and the 12th fret, all 4 of those are 3 quadrants of 4 that make up all of those minor seconds, that make up all the tones in between an octave. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do, do. So whether we're going up the fretboard or we're going along the fretboard, we can see how we have some octaves and we have some unisons, like in the G major. The G major, both of that G at the 3rd fret and the open G are G unisons. The highest G is up here at the 12th fret when we play at the 12th fret. We could also play variations of that note. So what we learn how to do is play with the 1st finger, 2nd finger, 3rd finger, and 4th finger. Lesson 1 would have us play these notes going up using only our 1st finger, not our thumb. We'll come back to the thumb. Using just our 1st finger all the way up, and then when we get up to the top here, we move just the 1st finger over to that C sharp on the thickest string. The reason why I call it C sharp is because if I played it open, it would be my C string. Any note that we sharpen we call a sharp. Even if I play a random note, whoop, boo, that's an F, just like this note. If I went forward, I'd say it's an F sharp, or I'm sharpening that tone, a half step or a minor second. That's what these half steps are, minor seconds. So what I'd like you to do is keep playing your speed this up or slow this down up here. If you can get to that speed, that'd be great. The idea is to keep your fingers on the fretboard and to use your first finger. Do it at your own pace, but make sure you do it a couple times. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Practicing the practice of practice. Your chords from last week are the C major, which incorporate the C note, the E note, and the G note. This low C is an octave unison. So the three notes we have are the C, E, and the G, the 1, 3, and the 5. The two notes in between that are, of course, the D and the F. We don't play those when we're playing the C major. If we did, it would influence it. So we don't. When we influence those chords, they're called different things. Like today we learned that if you play a C major, C, D, E, F, and play the fourth, it becomes a C sus4. You could also do a C sus2 using the C, D. So what we've learned are, chords are built of three notes, the 1, the 3, and the 5. All chords are. G, B, D is G, F, A, B, D. G, B, D. F major, our new chord of the day, which is a great place to go into here. I will play the F major with you today, but I'd like you to review your C major and your G major with your new chord, F major. We go to the E string, which is this, the second from the furthest away. Yeah? It's in between the thickest and the furthest away. This one, the E string. And when we sharpen the E, it goes to an F. Now, we could call it an E sharp, but for purposes right now, for the F major, we're just going to call it an F. This F note with the A note gives you F, A, and C. 1, 3, 5. So the notes you're playing are on the first fret on the E string, second finger on the high G, closest string to you, on the second fret for the F note and the A note. The open notes are C and A. Remember that unison? All chords have a unison or an octave note with it because we have 4 strings. So where we are, this is our F major. Here is the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now play along with all those and these. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2, and make sure that your hand on the right hand here keeps going up and down, and that you strike the ukulele for your 1. When you keep this rhythm, we naturally get our rhythm of 1. I'm going to play the new chord, the F major, and I'm going to start by putting my first finger on the F and then the A to get this chord and play it on the 1 each time. As soon as I have this rhythm, I'm going to switch and go to one of the chords that I do know. I'm going to hold that chord or something, just play with that C. The purpose of this is to keep your right hand going up and being able to switch between chords. At this point, you could write your own melody. F major, F major, F major. We're going to go to a C major here. Ready? Do a C major. Maybe a C major 7. Maybe a C dominant 7. Maybe back to the F. With what you have right now, you could take these chords and make little melodies. The purpose of this is to keep that right hand going. If all else fails, just go back to the rhythm. I'll do a whole set of them with you for one time through. But practice this daily, and I guarantee you're going to get a little bit faster and a little bit quicker at seeing what your 1, 3, 5s are on the fretboard. Okay? And you remember, this isn't to master this or to have some sort of all-together moment. It's just to enjoy it while it's happening and see how all these things layer together, and eventually you're like, oh, I have music theory, and I can play these chords made out of notes and tones. So here we go. We're going to play the C major together with a 1, 2, ready, and go. C major, 2, 3, 4, C major, 2, 3, 4, C major. Here's the last of the C major. We're going to switch to the F. Now back to the C, G major, back to the C. Notice how I'm playing the chords on the beginning, going C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. That's playing whole notes. And then next week, we're just going to go over how to do the half tone. If you'd like to try them this week, you just play on the 1 and the 3. 1, 2 with half tones. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the half notes. And then as we talked about, all the downstrokes are the quarter notes, which you can also do. 1, 2 with quarter notes. Down, 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 down. Try to utilize all the chords that you know, and then we'll go over them next week. Next week, we're going to be working for a D major and an E major. The idea is you want to get comfortable playing the D major with your whole finger while leaving a little bitty room for that A to ring through. We'll see you next week. Aloha.